Hello, National Action Network. I want to congratulate and thank all of you, and especially Reverend Sharpton, for 30 tireless, committed years in the fight for racial justice and equality. It is an honor to join you, but I wish that we could all be together in person. We still have some way to go before the pandemic is fully in the rearview mirror, but thanks to the leadership of President Biden and Vice President Harris, we are making great progress towards defeating the virus, and I can see brighter days ahead. I also know firsthand that African Americans, including many of you, paved the way and broke down institutional barriers that resulted in the historically diverse cabinet in which I serve. In the past few months, you've heard that the Biden-Harris administration is committed to recovering from the pandemic and building back better, and are likely wondering how trade fits into that agenda. When I was an undergraduate history major, I learned to respect and learn from the lessons of the past. Years later, I visited the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture that was established by the legendary Congressman John Lewis. My trade colleagues and I spent hours reflecting on the weight and pain of that first floor. It is unmistakable that trade, slavery, and the heartless attack on human dignity are root causes of the entrenched disparities in the U.S. economy. Failure to ignore that reality is not an option. As the first woman of color and first Asian American confirmed to serve as the United States Trade Representative, I recognize the historical significance of the position I hold, and I am committed to doing things differently. Today, each and every one of us in public policy bears the responsibility of being an ally, or, as the author Mickey Kendall termed it, an accomplice in the struggle to fill the dream of a more perfect and equal union that benefits all of us, not just a select few. Throughout my career, and indeed throughout history, the typical approach has failed to consider the real impact of trade policy decisions on all communities. And this is the reason that the President's 2021 trade agenda included the goal of racial equity for the first time in our nation's history. We are not going to do business as usual. Under my leadership, our agency is challenging preconceived notions and priorities. We are questioning how trade policy can better serve Black workers, minority-owned businesses, and aspirational entrepreneurs. We must ensure that they have a seat at the table and that decision makers hear and respect their experiences, ideas, and perspectives. I'm a firm believer that you cannot make good policy decisions for all Americans if the people creating the policy do not look like America. From day one, I've been committed to building a diverse and inclusive team at USTR. It will be a major priority for every hiring decision that we make. I've tasked my staff with being thoughtful and innovative in building trusted relationships with stakeholders who haven't had an established seat at the table or been at the table at all. We must meet this moment by looking at old problems in new ways and considering new problems with fresh perspectives, and we must do it together. I know both the Black and Asian American communities are going through some very dark days. Throughout history, we've struggled to overcome questions about belonging in our country that often sees us as other. But rather than accepting that as our destiny, I believe we can and must chart a different path, and we must do it together. I look forward to working with all of you to forge that new direction. Thank you.